those who attack us for saying, "Oh, it's all geology," especially those who say it's up on the Mount Ararat. Well, they're basically attacking their own position because their site has many geological problems with this stratovolcano that's sitting there. It has zero evidence that it was once underwater. So how does this boat shape gets way up on top of that huge mountain, the tallest mountain in Turkey, on the side of it? If you know how a stratovolcano builds, it's a specific type of volcano that has many different eruptions. It's also called a composite, has different layers, and it builds the mountain as each eruption builds up on itself. So to say the very last eruption has a boat on the outside surface that's still up near the top defies everything about how a mountain's formed. And also they say it's in a glacier, which is one of the, these glaciers are scraping the ground, the rocks. These glaciers form mountains and they shed them. They shed, every, I don't know how often the one on Mount Ararat does, but let's say every 500 years or every 1,000 years, the glacier with the ice and, the, snow will move itself off. So how can you put the because these so-called eyewitness accounts say there's a perfectly preserved boat up there, or in two pieces or three pieces, but still it hasn't been ground to dust and it's still up on top of the mountain on the outside edge. And yet these guys are saying we're ignoring geology, and those are the most vocal critics of the site are those trying to fundraise and climb the mountain, but they ignore this is on the geological side. They ignore everything. Plus, they ignore the basic um, thing of the fact that now thousands of tourists climb the mountain because you can get a permit very easily, $50, whatever. And these tour groups in Turkey take people up. They want to climb the tallest mountain in Turkey. No one has come back with a selfie of Noah's Ark up there. So, 100 years ago, they could claim that because no one was climbing this remote mountain in eastern Turkey. Now, every summer or even to the winter, a lot of tour groups going up there, and no one has said, "Hey, I found a piece of the Ark," or "Here's a photograph of the Ark." And you have Google Earth now. 50 years ago, you could not use Google Earth. There was no Google Earth. Now you have Google Earth, so you can stay in your home and you just go around the mountain, and try to find a boat sticking out. And again, a lot of things that were said in the past has like these people who have criticized and ran off the Durupinar site in the past and promoted their own sites. They could have done it in the past because they didn't have these tools that people can use. You can sit in your living room and look up on Google. You could, if you want to hike, you can climb the mountain with a Turkish guide, and that will, you're not going to find the Ark. Yeah. The mountain's been covered by a lot of people, so it's not like a hidden crevice somewhere. So so then people have moved on. There's less researchers now focused on the mountain. They're claiming, well, maybe it's on this other mountain range, but again, no site. It's too bad that they don't say, oh, well, maybe we should revisit the Durupinar site and work with us or do on their own, figure out what's going on with the why is there a boat formation there that exactly the length given in the Bible. So yeah, for those, it's a small group looking for Noah's Ark. It's not like a lot of people, but for those who are, it's you're gonna have this scattered interest, and everyone has their own idea, and nobody working together. So it is what it is.
Yeah. Um, if it was only a natural rock formation, if it is within a mountainous region, a region that's, I assume it's very big, that has a lot of mountains, what are the chances that if it's a natural formation, that's the only natural formation that looks like that in the whole region? Could that be normal? Is that not normal? Or
Yeah, so according, I don't, I'm quoting without giving a reference, but Dr. Byron Tuton even asked him that question, and he said that he's a geologist. He's retired now, but he was assistant professor there at Ataturk University, and he's the one we work with on the site. But he said there's not. This is like a unique formation in the world. There's people who might say, "Hey, look at this photo or this site," but it doesn't have the distinguished characteristics of this site that we're working. There might be something that has a long oval shape, but if you look at it from a certain angle, or like this site, you can look straight down. You look from an angle, it's a boat shape. Others, you turn it at a certain angle, you lose your boat shape. It's a cliff face, or it's half of a shape, or or not even a boat shape. It's an oval or something else. He really believes this is unique. Now, if you go back to like the 1960s, so you have again a general area. It's not in China according to the Bible. It's in the mountains of Ararat. Well, most of the mountains of Ararat is in Turkey. Most of that kingdom was in the modern day country of Turkey. And when the Turks surveyed their country, because 59 they joined NATO, and this area was bordering the then Soviet Union. Armenia was right there. Of course, they also have Iran, but especially Armenia. So they're surveying this area with high altitude military aircraft, taking pictures, mapping out the villages, the roads. They didn't come back and say, "Hey, we found like 5 boat formations." This is why this one got the news. It was in the news because it was the only one found. Yet today, people say that you'll see some YouTube videos saying, "Oh no, this is not unique. There's others around." No, in 1959, when this was discovered, and even through the 60s when they were finished their survey, they didn't come back every year with another boat formation. This is very unique. If they find a boat formation in China, okay, that's in China. But you look at the biblical specifics, you have to have a boat that's in the mountains of Ararat, and this is where we're at, and and then exact length. So, it's very difficult to get around that. Yeah, you have to come up with different explanations, and so people try. Uh, d- um, if they don't believe it's Noah's Ark, they'll do their best to find another explanation because they have to. Because what is it doing there? This boat shape.